Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, young and old. Welcome to Ladies of Tomorrow Online Learn to Learn Part 2. I'm Karishka, and along with Asel, I'll be handling the technical side of this online session. And as the Zoom host, I have few requests to make from the audience. The first is that please make sure that you are muted at all times so as not to disturb the proceedings. And secondly, do keep your video off because we're trying to minimize data usage for everyone. And thirdly, you will get the opportunity to ask questions from the panelists. And the way you can do this is there is a chat function in the Zoom app. If you're on PC, it's on the control bar at the bottom of your screen. And if you're on mobile, it's in the participants menu. If you have any questions, simply go to the chat menu and there's a way to address the question. So to send the message, you can send the message to me, Kavishka, and you can type your name and then the panelist's name and then your question, and make sure that you send the message to me, and we'll be answering your questions towards the latter part of this online session. Those are the few housekeeping issues for this whole thing. And carrying out the program today will be the person who's pretty much the head of the Leaders of Tomorrow movement. He is none other than Dr. Prabhat Karnanayaka. Dr. Prabhat, over to you.
Thank you, Kavishka. So, welcome to the 8th edition of the Leaders of Tomorrow online sessions. Good evening to all of you once again. Now, 5 years ago, I founded this Leaders of Tomorrow program in order to empower the next generation into becoming competent, confident, and compassionate adults. Up to now, we have conducted 13 workshops, and I go to schools and conduct in-house programs as well. So all in all, we have touched about more than 3,000 youth up to now. And all these were outdoor activity-based programs. We conducted our last program on 21st of February, and all the plans were set to have the next workshop on the 15th of March and the next one on 7th of April. Then we all know what happened, and we can no longer ask you to come to us. So we decided to keep the connection going, to come to you, to bring the program to you. And last week and week before, we actually conducted the Leaders of Tomorrow workshop online called Leaders of Tomorrow Foundation, which was very successful. And in addition to that, we are running this series of online panel discussions on topics which are very relevant to the children and youth. And as mentioned, this is the 8th in the series of such online skill development sessions. We concluded 3 sessions on keep learning during the month of May, where we explored 9 disciplines which you can learn as a hobby or as a profession. Last week, we shifted the attention from skills to knowledge, specifically how we can improve the efficiency of knowledge gathering process. Basically, how we can learn to learn. So last week, we spoke about a reading method, and we spoke about a method called mind mapping, and we spoke about a technique called mindfulness as methods of enhancing your learning capabilities. So today we are continuing that session. Now, learning to learn is the ability to pursue and persist in learning, to organize one's own learning, including effective management of time and information, both individually as well as in groups. So this competence includes awareness of this, the learn to learn, the competence of learn to learn includes awareness of your learning needs, identifying available opportunities, and also the ability to overcome obstacles. Now, when you start the learning process, there'll be enough obstacles on your way. So how to overcome these obstacles is also part of this learn to learn competence. Learning to learn will engage you to build on prior learning and life experiences in order to use and apply knowledge and skills in a variety of contexts. You can use the skill of learn to learn at home when you are doing your schoolwork, or some other learning. Maybe you are learning to some skills, whatever. You can learn this, use these skills. Then in education, at school, you can use these skills, and also when you become adults, at work. So at home, in education, at work, all these places, your learn to learn skills will be very helpful. Now, to be successful today in this world where things are changing very rapidly, you need to be continuously adapting, growing and improving yourself. You can't say, okay, now I have learned everything. Now I know everything, because the world is changing so fast. So in other words, everyone needs to become a self-directed, lifelong learner. You can never stop learning. So in this discussion, we will again learn about different tools and techniques to help you cultivate your capacity for learning. It's not only what you learn today, but you will improve the capacity of learning. So in the future, you can do your this learning process much more effectively and productively. So as I mentioned above, we have lined up 3 experts, and I am really happy to say that today our session is going international. We have international panel and also an international audience. So I'm really happy to announce that. So we have lined up 3 experts to talk on 3 learning skills. First, it will be the note taking. Then we'll talk about memory enhancement. And finally, we'll look at meditation. From a perspective of learning, how all these things can help you in your learning process. Each panelist will give a general account of the subject, which will be followed by some questions. And as Kavishka mentioned, you in the audience are welcome to post questions to the panelists. Use the chat panel. First, type your name, then the panelist to whom you are directing the question, and then the question very briefly. And during the last 20-30 minutes, we will take up as many questions as possible. Don't worry, if you have multiple questions, just send them over, because what you're going to do is, we will try to answer all the questions as much as possible. If not, we will definitely share the answers in our WhatsApp group. So there's a WhatsApp group for the participants of this LOT online sessions. And we will share even the answers, questions we answer in the session, we will post some brief answers in the WhatsApp group. So that is how it's going to happen. So first topic of the day is a discussion on note taking. Sometimes the note is dictated to us from start to finish, but other times we have to take notes from a lecture. So to talk about this very productive and efficient method for note taking, we have Mr. Aruna Dayanatha. Mr. Dayanatha, who holds an MBA from the University of Sri Jayawardenepura, is a manager, consultant, and a researcher specializing in management subjects. He has worked in many sectors in Sri Lanka and overseas, and has expertise in IT and HR as major knowledge areas. He has stopped generating paper in his professional and academic activities as a contribution to sustainable development. He usually finds convenient ways of doing things, and using Cornell method of note-taking is one such thing. Using this method, it has helped him to make his academic and consultancy work much more effective and productive. Over to you, Aruna, to educate us on this Cornell method of note-taking.
Thank you, Dr. Prabhat. It's my pleasure to be in this discussion. And yes, like I've been using corner knot for some time, but as of now, actually, I have given it up and I have good mind mapping, because the corner knot is paper. You can do it as well. There's an application on Apple platform for that. I will not discuss that. Let me share the screen with you. Okay, even when we were going to school, even during the time that we were schooling, taking notes was a challenging thing. It's not an easy thing. Teacher comes to the class and tells us something and go like, no, we have to keep them and we have to remember them and try to answer the questions. So we have to master that concept. So if you are there, you are not alone. If you can see the origin of this Cornell method, it was originated in a university. So even the university students for every level, even at the PhD level, we have this problem, or we have this difficulty of taking notes. So because of that, like then the professor in Cornell University, he came up with this method, right? And also this method is identified as a psychologically effective way of taking notes and studying. Why do we need take notes? For us to study it at a stage. If we don't have a requirement of studying at a later stage, or if we can simply forget it, or if we can remember everything, we don't need to take notes. So this Cornell method is connected or follows the psychology of how we think, how our mind operates. So that's you would be interested in getting to know that anyway. And anyway, I will not be having time for that. So if you are interested, you have to understand, like learn about how the category system forms and how the connections are made in concepts, and likewise that is how the mind works, the psychology works. So if we directly coming to the Cornell knot, right? I'm showing you a sample of Cornell knot. So as you can see on the screen, there are 4 components on Cornell knot. So I'll explain those things in the next slide. So I mean, sorry, this is just an example of Cornell knots. You can see how attractive it can be made when you are taking the Cornell knots. Like you can use multiple colors and clouds, and even you can draw diagrams for you to remember things. So likewise, so this is a beautiful way, or I mean, attractive way of and convenient way of not keeping as well. If you try to understand the main parts involved in a Cornell knot, like supposing that you are doing it in a single page, so you have to draw few lines, right? You have to separate the paper. At the very top, you will be having the topic or the teacher who taught us, and the date that this session happened. So likewise, you have to keep at the is ideally. Actually, this is not a very important like you will not be. You don't need to remember when it was taught. Of course, the topic you will have to remember. And during the session, when the teacher teaches, right, you have to take the notes here, the notes section. So basically what you're doing is you capture the main ideas. Don't say, okay, students, now I'm telling you this is how the gravity works, right? Okay, so out of that you have to only take the what is there, what teacher told us after gravity works, how gravity works. Eliminate all the unnecessary text or the words, take the notes here, this part, and you can write text. drawing, and if you have a highlighter, you can highlight, and if you want to get attention, you can draw clouds as you saw in the previous example. So likewise, this becomes the main area where you'll be taking notes. Then this part is for cues. Cue is something, a small, what do you call, a set of words or a gesture or maybe a drawing or a keyword that you will be going into that would help you to recall. And then you do the summary. So the sequence that this happened is like this. The first you do the title as you go into the, what do you call, or even before you go into the class, you can take the notes while you are in the class. And then you draw the summary, you write the summary as you understood. Okay, so this is the summary of the session is about. Well, you can keep the note aside, and maybe next day you read the note and develop the cues. So developing of cues can be like, the keywords, some phrase, or even a question can be put to the cues. And of course, this is the fundamental structure of what you call the tonal note. But if you can, if we go back and have a look at this note, right? So you can see, so this is the teacher who taught it, right? And then so this is the date. Sorry, that's not the date. Okay. So here they had this, like, this student has taken the note on the concept of chronological ordering, and these are the things that the teacher has explained. Right? Also, the student has taken a diagram as well, right, to indicate. So this drawing gives you some sort of an understanding of how whatever the concept about this chronological ordering. So how we are going to do it is like, we use this part, we take this part, we take this notes in this part. That is what we taught us. Maybe this diagram was drawn on the whiteboard, the magic board or the blackboard. So we take it down. So there's no sequence as such. Sometimes teachers will tell you the most important thing at the latter part of the story. That's okay. Same way as you teach, teacher teaches, you take them down. And then, so to create the summary. Summary is the most important thing, or the why, what this is, what this concept is, and then you develop questions and cues. Okay, so like signal words, right? So these things, like, and also like what you can do is from here, the concept, you can draw an arrow as well. So sometimes the most important cue would appear in the last on your notes. So from here to here, you can draw arrows as well. So likewise, it will be a very illustrative thing on your book, right? So likewise, so you take this sequence, take the notes, create the summary, and then go into develop cues. But you don't have to stick this format like on single page. What you can do is you can take the normal notebook, usual notebook, right? And you draw. This is two pages on when you open the notebook. So here you can say, okay, so this is the. You can write the topic here, and the date here, and separate an area here for summary. And let us use this part for note taking and this part for use. So what you do is you leave this part during the session and take down notes here. So you take down notes or diagrams, and then finally you do the summary, and maybe right after session or maybe next day you come and write questions or keywords, the concept here, and if you want you can take the details in the notes as well from this side, the other side. This will be, you can use the drawings, and you can use clouds to attention. Likewise, you can develop a note here, right? And then you keep this one like this becomes your notebook, right? And you can refer it back to the, at a better stage also, and while you are reading, right? So that would enhance your note taking part. Right, I think that's
Right.
about it.
Yes. Thank you, Aruna, for that detailed description of the Cornell method of note taking. I have one question. That is now, is there any procedure which you can recommend for studying after taking notes using this method?
Well, yes. I mean, it's like this. Now we have done the Cornell note. When you come next time, when you take the note next time, right? So the best way is you read the summary. Okay? So you read the summary and try to understand, right? Try to recall what is in the notes. Like maybe what you can do is you can take another piece of paper and cover the notes and the cues. To read the summary and try to recall, maybe you close your eyes and try to recall, okay, so this is what is in the notes. Then you open it and see, then you will understand with the memory if you were able to recall the content of the note effectively. If not, that means you have to read the notes again. So once you have finished summary, then what you have to do is you have to go into the cues. You go to the cues and keep the notes part open. Cues will have questions. Then you read the question and try to recall the answer that is in the notes. Maybe you will have a concept. Okay? You select that concept and try to recall what is in the note. Okay? So maybe you have a keyword. With that keyword, try to recall. Likewise, always you either start with summary or you start with the cues and try to recall what is in the notes. If you can recall effectively, well and good. Otherwise, go read the notes in detail. That's the process I would advise.
Right. Thank you, Aruna. Now let's move on to the next topic. So using the Cornell method, we can take notes more efficiently. Now let's look at how we can remember the notes that we have taken. Now, to talk about memory and memory enhancement, we have Mr. Sriram Santosh from Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. Mr. Santosh is a man filled with enthusiasm and confidence about revolutionizing the methodologies to harness the infinite potential of the mind. He is a certified memory expert, master trainer, and the president of Tamil Nadu Memory Sports Council. He is the founder of an accelerated memory enhancement coaching program called Mr. Brainius, the Mind Gym, and has trained more than 5,000 people aged 7 to 70 years in enhancing their memory. This program boosts the cognitive reserves and works by using an array of techniques without any equipment. These techniques have strategically been developed to serve the requirements of school children, college students, corporate employees, as well as business owners. Over to you, Sriram, to take us through a journey inside the brain.
That was a wonderful introduction, Dr. Prabhat. Thank you so much. Good evening to everyone. Before I begin with, I just share my screen. All right. So before we get into the topic, so I have a question I have a test to everybody. So that test will take just 30 seconds of time. So that test is very, very simple. So I'm going to give you 10 random words to you right now. Okay, though I cannot see each one of you, I just want you to memorize that 10 random words within 30 seconds of time. Okay, I hope you're all ready. Once I say start, your time starts now to memorize. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Your time starts now. Three, two, one, time up. All right. Okay. So you could have, if I ask you, you could have recall maybe 10 words. Otherwise, some of you can recall 8 words or 7 words. But what you have done, I hope that most of you have done in a method called repeating that words again and again. Yes or no? That is called mug-upping. That is a traditional method what we follow. But now I am going to teach you an effective way to memorize these words randomly. Even if I ask you randomly, you can tell that correctly. Okay. So though I cannot see you, I just want you to close your eyes. Okay. Close your eyes and think about yourself from head to toe. From head to toe. Think of your body from head to toe. Then think that on your toes, you have a laptop. On your toes, you are standing on a laptop. Then you think that on your knees, you have the sun which is burning your knee. The sun which is burning your knee. On both the thighs, you have been attached with a big parachute. Big parachute. Okay. On your stomach, you think that there is a big onion which is rolling on your stomach. Then on your heart, a door has been closed. A door has been closed your heart. Then you visualize your throat. The throat has been stuck up with a notebook. The throat has been stuck up with a notebook. Then you think that there is a big pineapple which is being kept inside your mouth. Big pineapple which has been stuck inside your mouth. Then you think of your nose, and the nose has been covered with a big towel. Then you think of your forehead. On your forehead, you have kept one big water bottle, which is rolling on your forehead. Then you think of your top of your head. On your top of your head, a kangaroo which is dancing on your head. A kangaroo which is dancing on your head. Okay. Now, if you will be able to recall everything from toe to the tip of your head, you will be able to recall everything. Okay. I'll just help you to recall. Just think whether you will be able to recall. If you all can do, just say I can in your chat box. Okay. After recalling. Okay. So first in your toe, what is there? Yeah. On your toe, this is laptop. On your knee, what is burning? The sun is burning on your knee. Yes. On your thighs, you can visualize that the parachute has been tied on your thighs. On your abdomen, on your stomach, what is rolling? I know it is an onion which is rolling on your stomach. Okay. Come to your heart. What has been closed your heart? There is a door which has been closed your heart. Yes or no? Now come to your throat. Okay. On your throat, what has been stuck up? So there is a notebook which has been stuck up on your throat. Now come to your mouth. There is a mouth, in your mouth, what you have in your mouth. So you have a pineapple in your mouth, right? Okay, coming to on your forehead, what is covered on your forehead? What is there on your forehead? So there is a water bottle which is been rolling on your forehead. Then coming to the top of your head, you saw a kangaroo which is dancing. If everyone can visualize what I told you, everyone can recall everything. Okay, just type in I can in the chat box. That's great. We'll get into what is memory. Okay, we all know memory, memory, memory. We all talk about memory. But what is memory? Memory is something, okay, we have five senses. We have five senses. With that five senses, we are getting the processing the information which has been coming to our brain and it stores in our brain. That is called memory. Okay, it's in a very short way. It's in a nutshell. I could tell you this one. All right, so many people will say, I have a bad memory. I cannot remember this. I cannot remember your phone number. I cannot remember my friend's name. So I cannot remember the question and answer what I am reading. Many people say I have bad memory. Okay. So actually, if we talk about bad memory, definitely we have to talk about good memory also. But according to me, there is no such term called good memory or bad memory. According to me, there are only two things, that is trained memory or untrained memory. People are normally like us is without trained memory, without that they are called as without training. Okay, so I have trained more than 5,000 people. Then after the training, they are called as trained people with memory. Okay, so after training, they will be able to memorize a lot of information in front of your eyes, and they could recall in front of your eyes. Okay, without even a single mistake. Even if it have been given them 200 digits, okay, they could memorize it, they could recall it in front of your eyes. You will feel like it is a magic, but it is not. That is the nature, otherwise the God who has given to us an unlimited memory capacity, but we don't know how to use that. So what we are doing here, so we are training people in a way on how to use that memory, right? Okay. So why do we forget? So this is the important question. Many people ask me, sir, why do we forget? Actually, it is designed in a way we have to forget. You know, I'll explain it in a bit elaborate. I'll elaborate in a bit more. Actually, we get a lot of information, we see a lot of information, we listen a lot of information. If all the information get into our brain and it is staying there without forgetting, without erasing, so we all will become mad very soon. We all will become mad. Okay. So God has designed that brain in a way so that if any unwanted information comes, it will be erased. At the same time, if any wanted information, that will also be erased. So what we have to do without forgetting it, so what we need to do is we have to repeat that information again and again. So whichever information you want to keep in your brain, we have to repeat it again and again. So that is how you can keep your memory very well, and it can, whenever you want that information, you can recall it whenever you want it. Okay, so repetition is the process of avoid forgetting, right? Okay, so I would like to tell you one question. What is brain language? Have you heard of this term anywhere in your school or in your college or anywhere where you work or somewhere outside? Okay, most of you not. Okay, so now I am going to tell you what is brain language mean. Okay, so we all know a lot of different languages like English, Hindi, Malayalam, Tamil, or a lot of different languages. Even we learn foreign languages also, French, Russian, German, many languages, but we don't know what is brain language. So this brain language is, which is common to each and every one in this world. Okay, to understand this brain language, I just want everyone to close your eyes. Okay, I'll just tell you a few things, just visualize it. Okay, just visualize an apple by closing your eyes. Visualize the person Abdul Kalam. Visualize a word, visualize an object, water bottle. Visualize a t-shirt. Okay. Okay, now open your eyes. Tell me, if I told you the word apple, you will be able to recall the word, you will be able to recall the picture of an apple, otherwise the spelling of an apple, A-P-P-L-E, otherwise the picture of an apple. I hope most of you would have recalled the picture of an apple. Even that apple would have been in red color. Yes or no? Right? So your brain language is pictures. So whatever you want to memorize, if you remember that, if you visualize that in a picture form, it is easy for you to visualize and recall whenever you want it. Okay. So, okay, there are a lot of techniques to improve your memory. So that is first one, I could say brain foods. There are a lot of brain foods which is available in the market. Okay, those are the foods which we eat normally. If we take it in a proper way, okay, it will be very, very good for your brain. So one of the brain foods I could suggest you is walnuts. Having 2 walnuts every day, that will be good for your brain. If you take a closer look of that walnut, it will look like a brain itself. It will look like a brain itself, right? Okay. The other one we can say, there are a lot of brain exercises I train children or even the elders also to develop their memory. And the particular way of developing your memory, that could be memory coaching. So get a training from a certified, otherwise the person who can train you properly in memory development. All right. Okay. Other than this, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, you can type it in the chat box.
Right. Thank you, Srira, for that
Yes,
wonderful
Prabhat.
description on how memory works and how the whole concept works. So, uh, before moving on, can I know from you, like now there are many important exams coming up here in Sri Lanka. So,
Right.
how, I mean, just when you get close to an exam, uh, how can you use this memory enhancement techniques to get through an exam better?
All right. So there are a lot of techniques when we read for examinations. Okay, so we can use a lot of different techniques, but I cannot teach you all the techniques right now. Even it takes few more minutes to explain to it. So I'll teach you a simple technique which we can use it when we study. Otherwise, which we want to develop our concentration, I can teach you a very simple technique. Okay, normally what we do, we will open our book and we will study, particularly children. Okay, when they want to study for the examinations, they'll open their book and study. Sometimes their minds will wander here and there, but their book, what they keep in front of them, it will be there, but not even one question they would have read even after hours. So that time what they need to do, they have to take that book completely upside down. They have to reverse their book upside down. So that is called reverse reading, we say. Okay. If they take that book upside down, that is opposite, completely opposite. So every word, each and every letter will be upside down to them. So what will happen if they want to look at that content? Immediately, the brain tells them to focus more on that question and answer or whatever they are reading. Okay, if they do that, immediately their eyes and the brain will develop more focus and concentration on the content what they are reading. Even this one is suitable for elders also. If you want to have more focus when your mind is wandering here and there, just take your notebook, take the book what you are reading, just keep it upside down and read it. Definitely you will get more focus and concentration in what you are doing.
Right.
Okay.
Thanks. And now actually we are targeting this program for children, but for adults like us, what sort of benefits do you think can we directly gain by enhancing our memory?
Okay. So without memory, not even a child or not even an adult can, think about our life. Okay. Without memory, we cannot even remember our name. Right. As an adult, so they work in a lot of different places, maybe in IT, otherwise in teaching or different areas they will be working. Okay. The memory enhancement, what they learn here will help them to remember a lot of information from morning to night. Okay. Even in this memory enhancement training, what we do, we meet a lot of people, but we remember their faces, but we don't remember their names. Yes or no? Many people experience this one. So even in this training, we are training people to remember their faces, names, as well as the faces. Even Even if you want to remember a lot of phone numbers, so this memory enhancement training will be helpful for them. Even if you want to remember their schedule, okay, the day-to-day life schedule, so this memory enhancement will be helpful for them, right? Even people have a lot of many people experience absent-mindedness. Okay, they will keep their phone somewhere. They'll keep their car keys somewhere, and they will look around all around their house. But learning this memory technique in a proper way, that will help them to overcome their absent-mindedness, which is within few days of time. So if anybody learn this memory techniques, even for adults, so that will be helpful for them even in their home as well as in their workplace also.
Sriram, now I know that you conduct most of your programs online. So even someone who is in Sri Lanka who's interested can join your programs easily. So can you just tell us something about how you conduct these programs and the structure of these programs?
Yeah, of course. Actually, I conduct online coaching. So memory enhancement coaching programs. So in this lockdown itself, I have conducted around 6 varieties of coaching programs. Okay, so currently I am doing that sixth batch of summer camp. Okay, from next week onwards, we will be starting one new batch in memory enhancement coaching. Okay, so that coaching will go for 10 days. Okay, if anybody is interested, so I can share my details in the chat box. You can get the details, and even I'll share my phone number also. If you want any other details regarding this training program, you can directly contact me and get the details from me.
Right. So thank you, Sriram. Now it's before I move on to the next topic, let me remind you that you have the chance to ask any questions to clarify any doubts you might be having about these techniques, what we have discussed and the next one you are going to discuss. So please type it on the chat panel, and as Kavishka mentioned, better to address it to him so he can pick the questions and direct them to me once the question time is here. And now it's time to move on to the final topic of the day. Whether you are trying to take notes using the Cornell method, what Aruna described, or trying to enhance your memory, like Sriram mentioned, some mind training would be very beneficial. So let's now look at a meditation technique as a learning tool. So to talk about transcendental meditation, we have with us Ms. Madhusha Pereira. Madhusha is a product of Devalika Vidyalaya, who has been a prefect and a president's cadet at school. She holds a BSc degree in software engineering and a master's in modern and Vedic science from USA. She has been teaching transcendental meditation techniques after graduating from Rajpark Institute, Thailand. And she's Sri Lanka's only active certified teacher of this technique called transcendental meditation. She's the founder of Blissful Life International and Transcendental Meditation Sri Lanka. Madhusha, over to you to educate us on transcendental meditation.
Thank you, Dr. Prabhat, for the introduction. Let me share my screen. Sorry,
I think you shared the wrong screen. Wrong.
What can you see?
We are seeing the Zoom page.
Right. My computer just got.
No, earlier the PowerPoint opened, but it was not in the presentation mode. It was only the PowerPoint. Okay, so
All right. So let me share now.
no, still we are seeing that. So you have to go to screen share and pick the right.
Can you see it now?
No, yes, right now it's done. Okay, you can go ahead.
Share the whole screen now. Okay. So I will discuss a little bit about the brain as entry point to the discussion today. So a little bit about the learning brain and the survival brain. So we have two parts of the brain, this frontal cortex and the back of the brain. Normally this front cortex and the back of the brain is not properly myelinated until the age 25. So this brain connection between the front and the back is actually not developed. So then we say the teenagers can't make decisions properly. So this is the reason that we say that. So we consider this frontal part of the brain as the executive brain. In other words, we send the information to this executive brain and process the information and then send it to the back to execute it. So this is the part. So we normally call this primitive brain, the back of the brain is primitive brain, and the frontal cortex is the higher brain, where we make decisions and all the processing part happens. So when we are under stress, this frontal cortex is actually shutting down. This is for our survival. Because in a situation like an incident, we don't have to analyze anything, we just react. So we are using this primitive brain in that way. But if this is happening under immense pressure, this happens automatically. So when our students are stressed with the studies and everything, this frontal cortex automatically shuts down. And at that time, we are not actually giving a proper the time to develop the connections between neuronal connections between the front and the back. So you can see here, it's a blood flow scan report. You can see here on the left, you can see a student, the brain of a student who's practicing transcendental meditation, and on the right side, you can see a violent brain or brain with a violent behavior, a student with a violent behavior, and you can see the functional poles here. It's very, this is due to the lack of blood flow to the prefrontal cortex and other parts of the brain. So this actually makes us acting very primitively, or our performance actually goes down. And we, as a human being also, we are not performing well and not connecting with the people very efficiently. And of course, our memory goes down. And when we talk about the technique, meditation technique, the first thing that comes to your mind is, oh, sometimes meditation is not for me, or it's so hard to meditate, and I can't even stay in one place even 1 minute. So how can I meditate? And if this is the question, I recommend this simple technique for you, means transcendental meditation. In definition, transcendental meditation, we say it's a simple, natural, effortless technique that anyone can practice 15 to 20 minutes, sitting comfortably with eyes closed in morning and evening. And this is actually irrespective of your religious background, behavior, or any lifestyle. It doesn't matter to practice transcendental meditation, because it's a simple technique. And it's not a religion or anything like that. And we say this is absolutely effortless because we are starting from age 4, and even the children with ADHD, hyperactivity disorder, can practice transcendental meditation, and we are seeing very good results with them. Also, we teach one-to-one transcendental meditation. We always teach one-to-one because the meditation experiences are varying from person to person. So we always give personal instruction. and it's evidence-based. And there are so many scientific researchers, I'll come to that, to prove the technique, the effectiveness of the technique. And it's consistently effective. Over 60 years, it's been giving the same results. It's been giving the same results over 60 years for at any age, at any state of mind. The people can practice transcendental meditation. Even with PTSD, they can practice transcendental meditation. So when we talk about meditation, we will talk about a little bit about the different types of meditation, because each meditation technique has its own benefits, and these are different results of different meditations. You can see, normally we categorize meditation into two: focused attention and open monitoring. So these are the main categories of meditation. You can see focused attention is actually involves highest level of cognitive control level. And in this category, we can see mindfulness, like focusing meditation. We are focusing on an object or a thought or something like that, anything like that. Focusing meditation, we can put into this category. And it actually produces gamma, especially the prefrontal cortex. You can see high gamma. It's the highest activity of the mind. And open monitoring, it's also involves somewhat cognitive control level, and it produces theta, which is attributed to mostly drowsiness. And you can see here, it's not the whole brain, actually. The different parts of the brain produces theta. So this is automatic self-transcending method, which is the category of transcendental meditation. It's actually different from those two categories. And so it involves lowest cognitive control level, almost no control, and it produces, as you can see here, we call it alpha coherence, which is attributed to restful alertness. So this particular state of the whole brain shows the alpha coherence. We call this particular state as restful alertness. At that time, the mind is restful, but it's not sleepy or anything like that. It's alert, and I will come to that in the next slides. So here you can see a normal brain, like a non-meditative brain on the left, EEG with eyes open varies. EEG reports, we can take this magnetic waves and all these things we can measure with EEG machines. So here you can see it's a perfectly normal brain, but here you can see different parts of the brain emits different frequencies. So here, this is more like an orchestra playing each instrument on its own, and it's not synchronous. So this is the reason most of the times our performance is not up to the standard or up to the expectation, or we can't focus better on. All these things happen due to this scattered state of the mind. And on the right side, you can see during transcendental meditation, the alpha coherence, as we discussed earlier, alpha coherence in the front, mid, and back of the brain. This is 8-second EEG report, actually, 8-second part of the EEG report. So you can see the whole brain functions together, and you can see a live demonstration here with eyes open. And now you can see with the meditation, the front of the brain, back of the brain, and all the parts of the brain starts to function in alpha coherence. So as we have limited time, I will pass this. And here you can see actually this alpha coherence increases the blood flow to the whole brain. And again, in the left side, you can see before practicing transcendental meditation, you can see this blue part indicates blood. And different parts of the brain only receive blood flow, and there's a cluster in some parts. But during meditation, you can see the whole brain receives the blood flow. Blood flow expands to the whole brain, and especially the left frontal cortex, and that indicates the alertness during meditation, during transcendental meditation. And this is actually a unique state of the brain that we can see only during transcendental meditation. So why we talk about all these And you can, with all these coherent brain wave patterns, the body also gains a deep rest, which is deeper than at any point during deep sleep. So then at that time, stress, also fatigue and tiredness, everything actually eliminates with this deep rest. And this is the Harvard Medical School research. So I will talk about the, as I said before, there are different techniques, it produces different results. But transcendental meditation actually is a simple technique that affects mind, body, behavior, and also the environment together. That means every aspect of the life grows simultaneously. And it's actually, there are more than 700 research studies conducted over 350 universities in 33 countries have documented the benefits of transcendental meditation on mind, body, behavior, and environment. And here you can see the improved memory just after 40 days of practicing TM. I will just go through this and here you can see improved postgraduate academic after learning transcendental meditation. And also, this is actually our focus, achieving academic achievements, fulfill our goals. And you can see with this, we can actually achieve academic goals also. It's scientifically proven that mathematics and language. Also, not only that, the student develop the personality or the independence, and also the focus, and now we can focus on one thing better, and also we have the awareness of the whole subject at the same time. So this is the technique that we can actually promote the focusing and broader comprehension at the same time. Two opposite values develop at the same time. And of course, in Maharishi school, it's the students meditate from kindergarten, and it's actually above the national average. Their performance level is highest examination scores. It's way above the national average of the USA. And also, as I said before, increase self-development, and not only improve memory and everything, but also as a student, as a person, we develop ourselves with the this technique. So there are so many countries, 65 countries, 800 schools are practicing consciousness-based education. And there are so many documentaries you can find on YouTube in David Lynch Foundation. And it goes in the USA as Europe as a quiet time program, and Euro project. European Union is funding to teach transcendental meditation to schools. And these are some pictures of course, with military schools also, they are practicing TM to reduce stress and improve memory and efficiency. All right, thank you.
Right, thank you for that wonderful presentation about the technique of transcendental meditation. Now, it sounds like a very, very useful technique for any student. So how can they start, how can they learn more about it and start practicing it?
Yes, actually the effectiveness of transcendental meditation, only the certified teachers teach transcendental meditation. So you can always contact me, and my goodness, you can find all the information from tm.org. Also, you can email me madhusha.pereira at, I think Dr. Prabhat, you can share.
So those contact details we can share on the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, any parts of the world, only the certified teachers teach transcendental meditation as a system to learn the technique, systematic procedure to learn the technique. So you can actually contact me at any time. You can ask any questions about it. I will give you the full detail of the course.
So basically, what they need to understand is this is not a technique where you go as a group, sit in a classroom, lecturer comes and takes you through, and it is not something like that, right? No. So this is essentially a technique which happens on a one-to-one interaction, and say, can you just let them know like the duration of a program normally?
Right. So this normally the program happens over 5 consecutive days, each day about 2 hours. But once you learn the technique, of course, you can practice as a group, and always we encourage practicing as a group because of this alpha coherence. It affects the individual as well as when you practice as a group, it's not the individual effect, it's the n squared effect, we say. So it's a multiplier effect that you benefit from others also. So we always encourage to practice as a group, but learn as individual, individual.
So that the learning process, which takes 5 consecutive days of 2 hours each, and once you learn the technique, you can get into a group who have learned the technique and then practice it as a group.
Or
Right.
practice on Europe.
Yes. And before I let you go, can you guide us to a very brief practical exercise? I know that you can't do TM here, but maybe some short practical exercise for us to get the benefit of this mind training.
Right. So, of course, transcendental meditation, you have to take the course. But if you feel like you want to relax yourself a little bit in between your studies or work, I can give you a simple breathing technique to practice, and we call it pranayama. Of course, some of you may know already the technique. So we take a deep breath first, and then we close the right nostril. We keep the hand like this, and we close the right nostril, and then we breathe out from the left nostril. And then we breathe in from the same side. Then we close the left nostril. And then we breathe out. Breathe in from the same side. We close that. Breathe out. So in this way, you can practice 5 minutes to relax yourself down. Of course, we recommend to close the eyes and then pay attention to what you're doing. So that's a simple technique, although it doesn't have the whole benefit that we discussed as the meditation. This can relax yourself down.
Right. Thank you, Madhusha. So, quick reminder that you can post your questions in the chat panel. Let me see whether we have received any questions. Right. So, Sriram, there's a question for you from Asel. Now, you briefly mentioned about the 5 senses and the memory. So what he's asking is, can we use all the 5 senses to enhance memory? You are muted.
All right. Okay, so I told you before, so we have a brain language, right? So that brain language is called pictures. So normally in school, what the teacher suggests children is like, immediately after reading anything, they will tell the children to write it once. Okay, whatever you read, so immediately they will tell to write once. Okay, according to me, okay, why they tell that? Why they tell that? Because 1 time of writing is equal to 7 times of reading. 1 time of writing is equal to 7 times of reading. But according to me, I will not tell you to write. I will not tell you to read. Okay, I will tell you to visualize everything. So that is what I'll be teaching in this training completely. Okay, whatever we visualize, that will be 1 time of visualization is equal to 100 times of writing. So that is what I'll be teaching my children. So no need to read, no need to write. Just close your eyes and visualize in a method. So what we teach them. So if they enhance that one, okay, so everything they want, they can memorize it. And whenever they want it, they can recall it whenever they want it. So that is what we are doing.
Right. Okay, I think it answered the question raised by Marcel. Aruna, there's a question for you. Okay.
Yes.
Right now, the question is now maybe a child who is young that that they are all the notes are dictated to them like one by one, right? Like the teacher will dictate the entire note. So then, in that case, do we have a place for the Cornell method of note taking?
Yes, of course. The Cornell method, like the student can simply take the dictated note, and the Cornell note taking or converting it into a Cornell note can happen after the session. So basically, what I would advise is take the notes dictated by the teacher. If you have a highlighter, if you use your pen and underline the most important things that the teacher has mentioned in the note. So they become then you can bring them to the notes part of the cornell note after the session. So then from there onwards, you can use the cornell note. So you can keep the dictated notes aside, and you can use the cornell note for you to study.
Right. So
Then subsequently, you develop the summary and the cues also.
okay. So does it mean that you can use it as a now normally what you do is you take your notes and then from that you take short notes, what we call short notes. So
Yes.
As a replacement for this short note, you can convert your note into a cornell note. Is it?
Yes, we can take it like that. At the same time, right? There's a short note taking technique using cornell notes as well. So you keep the versions of cornell notes. Like first version of the cornell note will have long texts. So after some time, you refer to the this cornell note and you do a summary cornell note on another page. It will have shorter cues, keywords, sometimes only diagrams, and even in the summary, you only will have some few keywords. Right? So then ideally what you should do is you should keep the detailed cornell note underneath the summary note. So at the same time, you can have several versions. Okay, so in the first cornell note, you will be having about 30 words to describe the concept. Second cornell note, you will be having about 10 words. The third cornell note, it will only be about 3 or 4 words. So likewise, you can create versions of cornell notes, shorten in the explanations of the things that you learned.
And I think if you missed our previous session on Learn to Learn, Mr. Dayanatha spoke about mind mapping. So mind mapping is another similar technique where we convert our ideas onto a piece of paper. And there also we discussed having different versions of the mind map. First mind map having a lot of details. Then from that to extract some other details and forming the second version, third version. And closer to an exam, same concept, you can start with the shortest or the simplest mind map or the shortest cornell note. Then if everything which is there is in your mind, then you are good to go. And if certain areas are not clear, you can go back to the previous version because it will have more information. And likewise, so you can only focus on the areas which you have not remembered or not learned.
Yeah.
Am I correct, Aruna?
Yes, at the same time, Dr. Prabhat, like since you talk about the past, right? And I think like we could have a session on flashcards. So from cornell notes, you can create flashcards. Even you can use the smartphone to use flashcards. And then even when you are traveling on a bus or maybe with your parents, so you carry a deck of flashcards and you can learn while you travel. Right? So that those things make learning easy. That can be combined with the, you know, this the mind power as well as Sriram's technique, and make it a complete bundle. This is really a good combination we have selected.
And I think like these days our kids don't want to put their phone away, so they can keep the phone and use it for a good purpose. Yes, right.
They can develop flashcards on the phone.
Yes, exactly, right. Then Madhusha, there's this question which came to my mind about now. Even I have experienced it personally, because one of my friends who had ADs for O-levels got into this mind training thing, and something went wrong. So when you're talking about meditation and all these techniques, the parents might have a bit of concern about whether to let their children do it, because they would have heard stories of things which would have gone wrong. What is your advice on that, Madhusha?
No, this is actually why we recommend to learn from a certified teacher. And also, as I said in the introduction at the very beginning, it's been given over 60 years. It's a proven method. It's been giving the positive results over and over again, scientifically validated. And also, because this is a specific technique, and we guide them through, because I said even the children with ADHD can practice. And so this is a proven method. So I don't recommend to experiment with the mind, because it's, I have seen, of course, university students sometimes, they have come to me. They have done meditation. Of course, they have learned from some guidance, but still some techniques, like intense meditation techniques, can go wrong. But this is a simple method, and all the schools in the USA and Europe, now everywhere in the world, in Latin America, now 3,000 schools are practicing. So actually, it's a proven method and very safe, and so we can recommend it to any child. It doesn't matter, because it's a simple technique, and the technique cannot go wrong if you do it correct, like with the guidance.
And may I ask you now, say, if someone wants to enroll for your this program, 5-day program, is there a screening stage where like where you have to screen the participants, or put them into grades or whatever based on their current situation?
No, but that's why we give the personal instruction. Always we are talking to the child or the person who is learning. We have a pre-interview, of course. We call it personal interview. There are 7 steps to learn. I didn't mention it in the video. This is the introductory session, and you got some knowledge about it now. But then is the preparatory session. So we give the mechanics of transcendental meditation and how it happens. And if they agree to do what we say, then we are ready to go ahead. And then the personal interview. In the personal interview, the teacher gets to know the person and their their requirements and their area of focus, why they want to learn transcendental meditation and all that. So in that we know, okay, we have to pay attention. Also, this person has this, let's say that they are taking medication for anxiety and all that. So the teacher knows everything. So based on those things, we guide them through the technique. And mostly it's not only memory. Because of this focus topic, I talked about the memory, but it's actually for health improvement, and especially for heart diseases. Mostly American Heart Association only recommends transcendental meditation as an alternative method for atherosclerosis and high blood pressure. So it's always scientifically validated with all the researchers. And there's no screening method. I have personal experience with ADHD children, children with ADHD, and also a person who has been taking medication for severe depression for 10 years in Canada. He came down to Sri Lanka to learn TM from me. He was a Sri Lankan, of course. So I have all kinds of experience. So there's no restrictions. You can always, but be open to the teacher and tell your requirements so the teacher knows how to guide you through the process. And that's why we, as teachers, we've been trained by Maharishi, of course, through radio type lectures and all the systematic procedures. And as teachers, we know how to guide them and how to correct the misunderstandings and all the, if the technique goes wrong, we know how to correct it and get them to the right path. So it's intense training for 6 months. So always go with the teacher and talk to the teacher.
Right, one last question before I release you. That is now, how soon should a child come to you? Now, for example, now say the advanced exam is happening in 2 months. Now, is this too late for someone to learn this and make benefit in 2 months? So, is there say if they have, do they have to come early to get results? What's your advice on that?
I'm happy to say that transcendental meditation, immediately you see the results right from the beginning, because right from the first day you see the results, energetic feeling and the clarity of the mind you actually begin to see from the first day. This is validated, documented by them, because we have an evaluation process each day. After 3 days, after giving the technique, there's 3 days of checking period. So 3 days of checking, we evaluate with the questions. So always they said that feel energetic and focused, more clarity in the mind right from the beginning. And so all the researchers that you saw earlier, even the improvement of the memory, it's after 40 days only. So there's no, you don't have to practice so long to experience the benefits of TM.
Right. So thank you, Madhusha, for those valuable insights. So I think the questions for you are over. Then let me get back to Sriram once again.
Yes.
So the question here is now, do you like go for this memory enhancement as a technique? That is, can you just use it in whatever you do? So can you apply it to any subject that you are learning at school, or is it a technique that to remember lists or numbers or something like that?
All right. Okay. Actually, there is a myth, the common myth we have in human mind. Everybody in this world have this common myth. Okay, what actually this memory what we have right now is what we get it from our birth. Okay, so many people think that I have low memory, that is very less memory. Some people think that I have moderate memory. Only few people in this world have more memory. Okay, that is the myth what we have from our childhood. So this is being taught to us even in school, even in college. So everywhere it is being taught. Okay. But according to me, I came to this field because of only one thing, because memory is a skill, like how we learn drawing, how we learn dancing, how we learn cooking. So from day one to after the practice of few days or few months or few years, definitely there will be exponentially growth in it. Okay. So that is how memory also can be developed through proper training. It is not something we get it from our birth. Okay, so if you learn the proper training, if you get the proper coaching, definitely you will see a greater results in your memory. Okay, so God has given us unlimited potential in our brain. So that means if you can memorize 1,000 books, you will have another 1,000 books can be occupied in your memory. If you want to occupy more 1,000 books, you have more space. So memory, we can say that it is an unlimited capacity of hard drive, what God has given to us, what is the nature given to us. Okay. So what we are doing here is to unleash that memory using that simple techniques. That's it. Okay. Definitely you will prove that your memory will be exponentially high after the few memory techniques. From day one, I guarantee people that your memory can be developed. It is not that this is the child who get 30 marks, this is the child who get 95 marks. Okay, after the training, even the child can beat the teacher also, so that memory can exponentially grow in that level. since you know this is the proper way, so then definitely you will achieve your goal if you go in that way.
Right. So thank you, Sriram. So those were the questions which were raised to you. And the good thing is both Madhusha and Sriram have a fixed program. Madhusha has a 5-day program for TM. Sriram has a 10-day program for memory. And Madhusha, your program is still not online, right? It's on in person.
Now I'm happy to say that we have online.
You have.
Course,
Okay,
but
good.
personal instruction is always personal. We
Yes,
don't
right. Okay, okay, right. So, we will definitely share the details of those two who are doing it professionally. But I know our Cornell method instructor Aruna is not professionally teaching anybody on mind mapping or Cornell methods. Am I correct, Aruna? Maybe he has disconnected, right? So the two of you, the transcendental meditation and the memory enhancement, they have online products. So if anyone is interested to try these things out, because this will not only add value to your academics, it will add value to you as a person as well. Okay, when you remember, especially if you can remember faces better, it will improve your relationships. And as Madhusha said, if you can practice TM, it can help your rest of your body, heart health, and so on. So if anyone is interested, contact these two individuals. It's not only for kids, even the parents who are here can contact them and get information and move forward. So to sum up, yes, Madhusha.
Sorry, when we teach kids below 10, we are always accompanied with the parents. Like one of the parents should learn with the kids so they know what they're going through and how what they're doing.
Which means the parent also will learn the technique.
The parent should learn. If the kid is under 10 or under 18, we need the parents' consent. But under 10, one of the parents should learn the technique with them.
Okay. So Aruna is back online. Actually, the question I asked you was,
I heard this. I heard that.
Okay.
I heard that actually. It's like this. There's no fixed repeated program or a scheduled program. I do these things as if requested. Basically, like, you know, the program I have on mind map is called drag and drop literature review. Right?
Okay.
So I don't like the students. I don't know, you have not gone through a literature review work now. Right? So when you are doing a research, doing the literature review is the most difficult thing. Right? So I use mind mapping to make the literature review convenient. So likewise, there are lots of tools, like as I explained to you, corner notes and, you know, the flashcards, the mind maps and collaborative mind maps, and there are so many things. I have the package, but I do not continuously do it. That if anybody requests, definitely yes, can do it.
So maybe going forward through Leaders of Tomorrow, we can organize maybe a one-day program where you can cover
Definitely,
all these
yes.
2 or 3 different techniques, which will definitely help out because now very soon we'll be reaching out to technical and university students in a big way. So definitely for them, it's going to be very useful who are into research. Definitely we will try to develop a product and take it forward. Thank you, Arun, on that. Right. So actually what we have done is to just scratch the surface of these 3 subjects. So you have to dig deep. So there are enough resources, and we will share the resources also with you. And you will get the contact details of the panelists, so you can contact them and get further information. And our next program is again happening next Friday. That is called Back to School. Now the schools are reopening. So how to get your mindset back to the process of learning, how to get ready. That will be the topic starting from next Friday going forward. And those who are joining for the first time, I have a WhatsApp group for LOT online participants, and I will add you to that group. So in the group, after midnight, you will receive the full recording of the session. That is, if you lost connection in the middle, so the full recording will be there. And in a couple of weeks' time, the full transcript of the discussion will also be uploaded as a LinkedIn article. Then once it is done, we will share it with you. And at the moment, the transcripts of the first 3 Leaders of Tomorrow online discussions are there. And the videos of all the sessions up to last one. There are 7 videos available. You can go to my YouTube channel, Voice of Prabhat, and you can find those videos. And of course, there'll be a feedback form. I know that you have given feedback. Those who have repeatedly took part in my these discussions have given us feedback maybe 4, 5, 6 times. But we humbly request for you to do it once more, because these are new topics we are introducing every week. We have to know whether the topics are resonating with you, whether you need to have different topics to discuss. And actually, this learn to learn, the 6 topics we picked were based on your suggestions, most of them, at least 5. So when you suggested, okay, we need this, we need that, then we bring in these topics to you. And during the lockdown, it was a weekly session where we had continuous sessions. But now with the schools reopening and your parents are at work, so all these issues, we don't want to put too much burden on you. Maybe every other week, maybe once in 2, 3 weeks, because what I believe is going forward, this platform, learning through online sessions, is going to be something that is going to remain long after the COVID issue is over. Therefore, we will continue this, maybe as a once a month thing going forward, but definitely this Leaders of Tomorrow online platform for panel discussions is going to continue. And finally, I would like to thank the 3 panelists who joined, Mr. Aruna Dayanatha, Mr. Sriram Santosh from Chennai, making our program international. So thank you for accepting my invitation and joining today, Sriram.
Even it's a great opportunity to me. Thank you,
yes.
thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
And also, I'd like to thank Madhusha. Actually, she's both Aruna and Madhusha are joining me for the 2nd time. So, so thank you for spending your time and taking part in all those rehearsals and sending scripts and all these things. And finally, I'd like to, before that, I'd like to thank the 2 tech guys in my team, Kavishka Karunayaka and Asel Jatunarachi. Kavishka and Asel, thank you very much for providing this assistance to me to make these programs a reality. And finally, a big thank you for the participants of this session, those who are in the audience. It gives us great strength and courage to go forward, to see that we can collect 30 participants even after the lockdown. That's a huge encouragement for us to move forward. Thank you very much for being part of this. And so till we meet again next time with another session. All the information about the sessions will be shared in our WhatsApp groups, and also mainly through WhatsApp and maybe through Facebook as well. If you get a flyer about one of these sessions, please do share it around, because there might be someone out there who's interested, who want to join. Then they can make use of this free knowledge sharing platform that we have created. So thank you very much, and till we meet again, good night from Leaders of Tomorrow here, and we will close the meeting now. Good night.
Thank you so much.
You too.